watching CN2 News, your South Carolina hometown news.
It's sugar, spice, and everything nice here at Carolina Ingredients' brand new factory. I'm CN2's Zane Cena, learning more about what brought the company to York County.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Jeremy Winder here. We've made our way all the way out to Kershaw to catch up with the Andrew Jackson Volunteers in our next to last high school football preview of the preseason. Later in sports, we'll hear from Coach Shigley and his team. Plus, I'll let you know about some new hires at the Winthrop Coliseum.
And students are back on campus. We are there for move-in day as some Eagles come home to their new nest. Your news starts right now. Good evening, I'm Laura Bree Monday, and this, of course, is CN2 News. Always glad to have you. Thanks for watching. Our top story tonight, spice is in the air, and it won't be going away anytime soon. It's all thanks to a seasoning manufacturer that's expanding its operation in a pretty dramatic way. Carolina Ingredients made York County home back in 2009 when they relocated to the area. Well, on this Thursday, they unveiled their second warehouse with some big players at their ribbon cutting. The seasoning manufacturer sees this as a milestone in their relationship with York County, and as CN2's Zane Cena reports, they are happy to bring better business to the area.
Carolina Ingredients CEO Blair Collins encouraged by the support the grand opening received and feels it's a good sign for things to come.
The turnout of individuals that came today speaks volumes about what kind of support as a business we get from both the county officials and the city of Rock Hill officials, and even, fortunately, the state of South Carolina. Having that kind of support just makes you want to continue to invest.
Elected officials stopping by Carolina Ingredients ribbon cutting on this Thursday to see the payoff of the county's hard work in creating a lasting relationship between the company and the county.
And this speaks to the testament of some work that we put in years ago, and we're starting to see some of more fruits of our labor of bringing good companies like Carolina Ingredients here. They're certainly looking to expand, and that's just going to mean more families have an opportunity to earn a living.
Congressman Ralph Norman also stopping by to show his support for the company's expansion.
Businesses that are the lifeblood of this community. They pay our schools, they pay for our law enforcement. And so I learned something, I find out what problems they have that we can hopefully address, and it's just an honor to be able to come here.
Carolina Ingredients feel they found a home here in York County and hope to continue strengthening that relationship by bringing more jobs and business to the area.
We're standing in a field right now that in a few years won't be a field. It'll be an extension of our factory. So obviously for us that means business growth. Every time we do business growth, that means job opportunity growth, which we think being in York County and being in the city of Rock Hill support that tremendously.
The relationship between the county and Carolina Ingredients doesn't look to be ending anytime soon, and officials are excited for what the company can offer the community.
This company is going to be here for them. They're not going to pack up and leave like we've seen other companies, or defaulting on any obligations they've made to this community. So it was a good experience for me to come out and meet the family and meet the owners who are bringing such a wonderful thing to our community.
Carolina Ingredients excited to continue bringing positive business to the people of York County. In Rock Hill, Zane Cena, CN2 News.
Carolina Ingredients is located off Dave Lyle Boulevard and employs around 100 people. Colleges throughout the Tri-County are welcoming back students to campus this week. On this Thursday, Winthrop University officially kicking off the move-in process, a process that will last throughout the weekend, so expect more traffic in and around the campus there. This fall, Winthrop is welcoming 1,000 new Eagles. That breaks down to roughly 750 new students and 250 transfer students. Here is how Winthrop is comparing this year's student body to previous years.
Yeah, so in terms of enrollment numbers, they're down a bit, but honestly, we anticipated that. There's something called the enrollment cliff that every university has been looking at for the last few years, and so I think COVID has aggravated that and maybe even escalated that a little bit, but we're pretty happy with where the numbers are now.
Winthrop University has dialed back its COVID protocols this year. When you're on campus, you'll see limited COVID signage, but the school will still offer testing as well as the COVID vaccine and boosters. Now, Monkeypox, or Mpox, Winthrop says, is aware of that disease, but they don't think it will be much of a concern. With both Mpox and COVID, Winthrop says it has sent out a lot of messages to families to communicate in detail the school's plans. This Monday, August the 22nd, Winthrop will hold its convocation to kick off the 137th academic year. Of course, Winthrop is starting this year with a new president, Dr. Edward Cerna, who is also a Winthrop alum. Lumber thieves leading the York County Sheriff's Office on a chase through Rock Hill. Deputies were patrolling the area of Shallow Ford Drive, where new homes are under construction, when they observed two people loading plywood into a box truck in front of a construction site. Deputies say when they confronted the men, those men drove off, and an hour-and-a-half-long pursuit began. Here's the scene through a deputy's dash cam video where plywood was actually thrown into the road.
Coming up to Mount Gallant. He's taking a right on Mount Gallant. I'm worried about this black male falling off the back of the truck. Speeds are 60. The black male is throwing things out the back of the truck now. He's throwing out pieces of plywood.
Yeah, there's plywood all over Mount Gallant now. Between Kingswood, coming up to the museum. Several sheets. There's plywood all over York, coming up the comfort systems.
Drivers bailing on the U-Haul.
Yes, seems like they're king around there.
Now, one of the suspects, 63-year-old Willie Bailey of Clover, has been charged and is facing assault and battery, along with grand larceny and criminal conspiracy charges. Now, the driver got away, and the search is still on for that person. Deputies recovered 50 sheets of plywood and several boxes of hurricane brackets. Sheriff Kevin Tolson says lumber thefts from construction sites is an ongoing crime trend here in the county, and if you steal lumber, they say deputies will stop you. Here's our latest Elite Air and Heat picture of the day. Hopefully all your kids are settling into school nicely and happy to be back thanks to many welcoming faces like this one. This is Officer Vega, who returned to Fort Mill Elementary School this year. He's one of many at FMES who clearly love their jobs and being at school. Want to see your photos picture of the day? Just email it to news@cn2.com. Welcome back to CN2 News. York County Council discussing the recreation tax during this week's meeting. An ordinance to abolish the tax, which sees and manages how the funds are dispersed, was up for a vote. The council all agreed they did not want to suspend or get rid of the tax entirely. According to our news partner, WRHI, many argued the deletion of the tax would mainly hurt residents outside municipalities trying to enjoy recreation, mainly youth sports. The York County Council learned there are many rec programs and demographics that benefit from the tax, including the elderly and those with disabilities. The Chester County Sheriff Max Dorsey is asking Chester County Council to allow the Sheriff's Office to contract with the South Carolina Department of Mental Health. The Sheriff would like a clinical therapist to work in the detention center for 25 to 30 hours a week to help those with mental illness. During this week's Chester County Council meeting, Sheriff Dorsey says the cost of this therapist to the county is around $30,000, and the sheriff says he will be able to cover the expense from money in his existing budget. The Chester County Council also getting an update on the expansion plans for the county's CN2 landfill. The county says it is in the planning phase of adding approximately 30 years of capacity to the landfill. Officials say the existing CN2 landfill is filling up and they need to take steps now to keep it from closing.
Hi, everybody. I'm John 9 meteorologist Keith Monday. It's Severe Weather Center 9. Your CN2 forecast for your Friday. Better rain chances look like they're spilling in as we head through the day. Mostly spotty afternoon storms become more numerous as we head our way into the evening hours. Temperatures only holding in the mid to upper 70s, so not going to be that warm on Friday, but it could be quite wet, especially as we go later into the day, into Friday. Now, all across the Tri-County area, everybody held back in the mid to upper 70s, maybe a little closer to 80 down near Kershaw, Great Falls, Chester, but mid 70s maybe, that's it around Clover. Temperatures are going to be held down quite a bit because of all the clouds. And some of that rain may be around already early in the day. And it's not going to rain all day on Friday, but these scattered showers are going to continue to roll in through the afternoon, likely getting more to redevelop as we head our way to Friday evening. With Friday night football games in play, yeah, we could have some issues out there as we work our way into the night. Now this weekend, a little bit lower of a chance of rain overall, but still some scattered storms will be around as temps rebound back in the 80s, but no big heat is coming back our way anytime soon.
Thank you, Keith. Monday, and for those cooler temperatures. In tonight's CN2 digital dashboard, law enforcement officers across South Carolina are kicking off the Labor Day Sober or Slammer campaign on this Thursday, and it will last through September the 6th. During this period, officers will be on alert for impaired drivers with heavy patrolling and traffic safety checkpoints. Highway officials say about 32 people die every day in America in drunk driving crashes. That is one death about every 45 minutes. Labor Day typically marks the end of the summer travel season. Well, stay with us. CN2 News continues after this break with another message from law enforcement about school bus safety now that students are back in class. You're watching CN2 News. High in the sky this past weekend, 45 planes from all over the region participated in the 3rd annual Tour de York event at the Rock Hill York County Airport. Planes taking off from that airport just before noon on Saturday and flying over points of interest from Little Allison Creek to York to Clover, Rock Hill, and more. Folks living a mile or so from the flight path could enjoy the parade directly from their homes. Now, in addition to that, celebrating Aviation Week, airport director and event organizer Stephen Gold says they began this event actually during COVID to try and combat the issues of not being able to have visitors there at the airport. So they put a committee together and decided that if the public couldn't come to the airport and see the planes, well, they would send the airplanes out to the public, and clearly it's continued successfully. He called on local pilots, local and area pilots to participate, and once they have the route all set up, they began setting up points of interest for everyone to enjoy.
It was just one way to kind of get everybody together and showcase the general aviation aircraft that are out here on any given day, to be able to kind of highlight what our asset is that we have for the community, and just really give people an opportunity to kind of see what happens, you know, day in, day out, and you know, just flying in a line from the fastest to the slowest. We had 35 aircraft for the past 2 years each time.
You know, the freedom to be able just to go and do and have fun, and just to say, you know what, let's go up to you know, some other airport and go get lunch today. They call it the $100 hamburger. It's probably a little bit more than that these days, but it's just enjoyable, and to be able to fly and go somewhere and just enjoy the sights that you see when you're in the air, whether you're 1,000 feet up or 5,000 or 15,000 feet up. The world is just such a different place. You don't realize how beautiful it really is until you can really see it.
That's pilot David Hess, who enjoys flying with his wife, daughter, and their dog. When Hess's feet are on the ground, he's actually a nurse practitioner and works at an occupational medical clinic in Rock Hill. He says he'd choose flying his own plane over commercial any day because he's in control. His daughter, who is a student at Winthrop, is also a pilot and has aspirations of becoming a commercial pilot. The Rock Hill York County Airport will host its Fit to Fly 5K event, where they will close the 5,500-foot runway for a 5K and kids 1 mile fun run on Saturday. That'll be September the 17th. To check out their website or Facebook page, you can learn more. Visit City of Rock Hill Airport events. Well, as we head to break, here's a message from South Carolina Highway Patrol about back-to-school safety when it comes to those bus stops.
Keeping kids safe on a school bus is a team effort, from our bus drivers and students to parents and other motorists. That's why the South Carolina Department of Public Safety and the South Carolina Department of Education are asking for your help to keep kids safe this school year. Each day, close to 325,000 students ride a school bus to and from school in South Carolina. When waiting for the school bus, students are reminded to stay out of the roadway and not to start walking towards the bus until it has come to a complete stop and the bus driver has given you the hand signal to board the bus. Loading and unloading can be one of the most dangerous times for a child around a school bus. Due to a child's size, it can be difficult for a bus driver to see them if they enter into one of the 4 danger zones around the bus. These areas include directly in front of the bus, directly behind the bus, and on either side of the bus, or approximately 10 feet in each direction around the bus. It is important to remember, if I can't see the bus driver can't see me. Parents, take time to talk to your children about staying clear of these areas around the bus.
Another danger that exists for students during the loading and unloading process is the risk of another motorist disregarding the stop arm and flashing lights. This is a serious offense and can result in a citation and fine of more than $1,000 and 6 points on their driver's license. Children can be severely injured or even killed if a motorist decides to pass a stopped school bus. Parents, it is important to talk to your child about what they should do if they must cross the street either to load or unload the bus. It is important that the child makes eye contact with the bus driver and wait for their hand signal before crossing the street. The bus driver has a better vantage point to see if vehicles are approaching and if it is safe to cross the street. If your child's bus stop includes multiple children that must cross, it is safer for them to cross together rather than individually. Parents, please also talk to your children about proper riding procedures on a school bus, which include listening to the driver, keeping their back against the seat and feet forward at all times, keeping the aisle clear, never sticking their arms or head out of the window, talking quietly while on the bus, and waiting until the bus comes to a stop before standing up. Working together, we can help to keep our kids safe this school year. For more safety tips related to school zones and school buses, visit scdps.sc.gov.
CN2's Hometown Tourist is brought to you by Champion Services. For all your home improvement needs, trust the proven experience of Champion Services. To see a list of residential and commercial services, visit championservicesinc.com.
This is CN2 Sports. Well, a number of high schools will hit the football field for the first time tomorrow, Friday night. One team is actually starting on this Thursday. CN2's Jeremy Winder with a coaching legend who will be back on the sidelines at a new school. We have that story and much more in your Thursday Sports Report.
If any school's athletic department saw much success to start 2022, it's Andrew Jackson. The Volunteers baseball team won the state title, and the girls basketball team was in the championship game. Naturally, Volunteer Nation is hoping to see the football team get in on the success. Perhaps the team's biggest opponent the last 2 seasons has been COVID, which canceled a number of games. In fact, the Vols have only been able to play 5 home games over the past 2 seasons. And Coach Todd Shigley believes that with an uninterrupted schedule and the return of starting quarterback Hammond Wren, this Volunteers team should be able to reach their goals. And what is the first goal for this year?
Our goals, though, and I'm putting a little more emphasis on it this year, is region championship. So I feel like if we could make that happen, it'd be a really good year. And then we get into the playoffs, that would help us out with home playoff games and things like that. But, we don't really measure it by that. Our program, we say be the best. So just improvement each day is kind of our big thing. But I think this team's got a good chance to do really well.
Team bonding very good. We've been doing activities with each other, bonding, having a good time. I think this season's going to be a good one.
Now let's see how the Volunteers will start the year off. Next Friday, the 26th, they open up at home against Fairfield Central. 1 week later, they start the Labor Day weekend with another home contest against Crestwood High School out of Sumter. September 9th, they play their first road game against a tough team in the Lamar Silver Foxes. September 16th, they are back at home against the Lakewood High Gators, and they wrap up non-region play in Chester County against the Louisville Lions. And although a number of teams will be opening up their season tomorrow on Friday, one area squad will kick things off this Thursday Thursday evening as the Great Falls Red Devils welcome in Heathwood Hall. Kickoff is set for 7:30 with tickets available on the GoFan app. I will have highlights from this game for you on Friday's newscast. Now let's take a look at Thursday's CN2 Sports digital scoreboard, and we have some hiring news to tell you about, some names you may know and some you may not. The Winter basketball team has announced the addition of Kaylin Johnson to the staff as the new director of basketball operations following the promotion of Mitch Hill. Johnson previously served as the athletic director and head basketball coach for Sacred Heart Cathedral School in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the women's lacrosse team now has a new full-time assistant as Hannah Potter has been announced by the program. Potter just wrapped up her playing career at Central Michigan, where she earned a bachelor's and master's degree. Congratulations to the two newest Eagles. And we also have one more new hire. Former Winthrop tennis coach Sid Carvalho has been tabbed to lead the tennis program at Legion Collegiate Academy, pending board approval. Definitely going to be great to see Sid back on the court. And high school teams won't be the only ones starting their season on Friday night. So will the Winthrop women's soccer team, as they will be in Montgomery, Alabama, looking to swat the Hornets from Alabama State. These two teams met almost 1 year ago to the day, and Rock Hill playing an overtime thriller that the Eagles won 3-2. Should be another exciting one to open the year. Be sure to tune in on Friday where we will wrap up our high school football previews with the team that wrapped up last season as the 4A state champion, the South Point Stallions. Until then, hope you have a good evening. This is Jeremy Winder, CN2 Sports.
All right, Jeremy, thanks as always. Talk about keeping us connected to our sports world. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow night with a brand new newscast. Take care.